Hello, everyone, and welcome to a great webinar that we're planning ahead. I'm here along with John Tiley. John, good evening on your side, or I don't know, it's evening here on my side. On your side, it's morning or evening or?
It is morning. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm here in Los Angeles, and good to be on. Good to connect.
Awesome. So John Tiley is the CEO and from ZonGuru, so he'll be here with us, and he'll be showing us some amazing tips and tricks from the company that he's running there. And more exactly, we'll be talking about the halo effect, which is an interesting factor there. It's trademark. This means that you guys have gone through a lot of trouble to actually tailor it and present it in a nice way, and afterwards going through the trademark process and owning that your way. So I'm eager to dive into that one. But let's start with a little bit about yourself, John. Maybe you can tell us about how things started with ZonGuru, how everything started on your side.
Yeah, thank you. We launched ZonGuru back in 2016. That's when we first launched ZonGuru. I've got a typical founder story. I was in advertising for many years. I started and launched a few private label brands on Amazon. I did well with that 2014, 2015. And through that process and through kind of a lot of my historical experience, I saw an opportunity to launch a software tool set for Amazon sellers. Back at that time, it was back in the day of things like Unicorn Smasher. I think Jungle Scout was out at the time. But from my perspective and truly looking at it from a business perspective, I felt there was a lot of data for the sake of being data and not a true focus on what are the key business questions that we needed to answer to really scale an Amazon business, and how do you bring that filtered, focused set of data to answer those questions, right? So really focusing on the most efficient, impactful data that we need, visualized in the right way to scale a business was our focus. So that's how we started. We've grown over the years. We have 17 different tools right now, from product research to listing optimization, SEO, alerts, review automation, profitability, business dashboards. You name it, we have it. We have 17 tools, and we're integrated into North America, Europe, Australia, and India. Those are the four Amazon marketplaces that we focus on. We've got a lot of tools, but we truly focus on Amazon itself. We also have a lot of sellers on our team. Everyone's got a side hustle, and I promote our team selling on Amazon. So, over the years, we've got a few sellers that are 6 and 7 figure sellers, not 8 figures yet, but we have legitimate sellers on our team. So we truly understand the problems that we need to solve, and we do that. We did well. So, that's ZonGuru. I think, across the platform, our flagship tools are around keyword research, listing optimization, tracking, really the operational side of running your storefront and your listing. And mainly because I think we do it in the most efficient way with a lot of context, and we have a unique way of how we get at keywords and how you can actually filter keywords to really find the right ones, both for your listing as well as for your PPC campaigns. And that's a little bit of what we're going to touch on today.
That sounds great and really, really impressive. And I guess the first thing to go into the halo effect, to understand it exactly what it refers to, and how deep can you get the data. Because I'm an Amazon seller myself. I've been on the market since end of 2016 to 2017. Also, I'm very technical, so I'd like to understand how things are, happening in order to replicate the model. If you get a structure, you get a pattern, then you can replicate it on different brands. So everything related to ranking. We're also a ranking agency. We're dealing with organic ranking. And the most important part with the business with Amazon, you can have the most important and most beautiful product on the planet. If you're not ranked, if you're not up there on the top, if you don't have the right keywords in your listing, if you do not bring traffic, people to see it, it's pointless. So the whole idea relies in actually identifying the right keywords, long tail, short tail. We'll dive into that. I'm eager to see how you relate to that. and implement it in the listing, and afterwards try to climb into the ranking and be on the top of your niche. That would be the whole idea. So let's digest a bit this halo effect and how we can how could an everyday seller on the Amazon platform take advantage of it? I guess that's the most important question.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on a few things there. I think what's important on the halo effect is you would use a strategy, one, to launch a product or a listing, or if you have a stagnant listing where you're trying to increase your ranking, your organic rank, you can use a strategy as well. And typically, the traditional way of obviously creating a listing is what you touched on before, which is like, hey, what are the main keywords from a short tail, a longer tail? What are the keywords that I should have in my listing, and to ensure that I have the most reach, I'm indexing for the most keywords, and I can get in front of the most people. Right? That's the typical way of thinking about a listing at a basic form. Where the halo effect comes in is more of an advanced strategy for competitive marketplaces. So Amazon.com is obviously one of the most competitive ones. There's a lot of listings that's got a lot of depth in terms of keywords. There's a lot of depth on page 1, page 2. And so, the halo effect is basically it's a subset of what we call contextual SEO. And when I say contextual SEO, optimization for Amazon, when we say context, what do we mean by that? We mean it's not only, what are the best keywords that you should have in your listing, but it's like, how do your competitors rank for those keywords? So how do what is your main competitors? How do they rank? You obviously have to look at what the algorithm is focusing on. What are customers typing into Amazon? So context means you need to look at all of these factors, right? People, what are they typing into Amazon? Your competitors, how are they ranking? What is the algorithm doing? And then obviously, what are the main keywords to add? So that's the context of the halo effect. But in essence, when the main part of the halo effect is understanding what are your competitors ranking for, and more importantly, what are they not ranking for, and then how do you actually compete against them? So that's the genesis of how we came up with the halo effect. And to break down what it actually does is, as a strategy is, number one, you need to find the best keywords, high volume, short tail, long tail keywords that you need to put in your listing. So that's step one. You have to have that. You put them into your listing, and you need to index for around like 1,500 keywords, right? So that's kind of your first basic part of getting your listing right. The second part is where the halo effect comes in, is finding a subset of keywords that your competitors, maybe it's your top 10 competitors or your top 2, but what keywords do they rank for? But understanding what keywords do they potentially not rank for that still have decent search volume, maybe low rating. So they've got search volume but less competition, and your competitors don't rank for those. And creating a subset of those keywords, which we call the opportunistic keywords. You save them as a subset. You make sure that your listing has those keywords, but then you run a PPC campaign against those opportunity keywords. And what we find from a halo effect perspective is, you can start to get better conversion rates on those keywords because your competitors haven't found them, or they're not really indexing for them. You generate some good conversion rate through the PPC campaign, and the Amazon algorithm recognizes them and saying, hey, you're getting decent conversion rate for this. It'll start to send you organic traffic for those keywords. But what we see from a halo effect is that if you start to do well there, it actually starts to spread, and some of your organic, shorter tail, higher volume keywords start to get better ranking, and you start to generate even more sales there. So it's almost like the algorithm starts to say, hey, this product is starting to really convert well for some of these keywords. Hey, they're doing quite well, and we send them more and more traffic. And so it's kind of a backdoor way of getting a better traction on some of the shorter tail organic keywords and start to ranking for those. So that's in essence what the halo effect is. And we see some good results basically for competitive niches, or where you have a stagnant listing and you're trying to get a little bit more of a boost on your ranking.
So this works both for launches and for re-ranking, for example, or relaunches in some, let's say, products, for some products that haven't been pushed for a while. That's a very good perspective, and really it's very important to look at things this way, because actually you're taking a piece of the pie from where your competitors aren't looking. So it's a very good way forward, the way I understand it. I hope I understood it correctly. just target and try to be on those keywords that all other competitors are neglecting, and yeah, that's kind of a low-hanging fruit there if you look at it that way. So it's very important to have that into consideration, and yeah, it's a great way to go forward.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the trick is obviously understanding, hey, what are your competitors potentially not ranking for, and then obviously, you know, targeting those. So that's where obviously software comes into play, because you know, the way that we have developed our tools is, again, it has context. So, you know, when you look at our keyword tool, we'll jump in and I'll show you in a minute, but you know, we find the best keywords, but we also show you how do the top 25 competitors rank for those keywords, so you can kind of start to filter by competitors to see, hey, what do they actually rank for, or what don't they rank for, and that helps you to be able to target specific keywords. So yeah, you know, it works really well. I think, you know, you said it earlier. At the end of the day, it's not going to work if you have a crappy product, crappy listing, bad reviews. You know, you've got to at the end of the day, if you've got a good product, but you're just trying to get more awareness for it, and you're like, hey, Amazon, I've got a great product, I need to get this in front of you, because if you see I've got a great product and I convert, you guys are going to make money. So then start sending me more traffic. That's you know, the scenario where this is really going to work, and you're going to start to rank really well. And you know, the halo effect comes into play. So yeah,
you've touched a very sensible point there. So in the end, it's about making money. If Amazon makes money and your product sells, it's a good product, you don't get bad reviews, you're selling like crazy, Amazon will most likely promote it and put it in front of everyone. So in the end, it's just a matter of selling. After all, Amazon is looking into the money, the economics of the picture. Yeah, that's the most important part. If you have a bad product, you should improve it, of course. And in the end, the bad listing can be easily, you know, fixed with a good keyword research, or maybe ZonGuru can also help us with that part as well, listing creation. But yeah, I'm curious, how to differentiate, like, for example, I mean, we all know the difference between long tail and short tail keywords, right? But how do you look at it, and what would be the minimum search volume for a keyword for you to consider when you actually look at it as a good keyword, or a keyword to actually take into consideration and put it in your listing? That would be, I guess, where to start with this from my perspective.
Yeah. You know, basically, you know, a longer tail keyword is a more descriptive keyword that is relevant, right? So relevancy is a critical piece when you're identifying longer tail keywords and short tail, right? You've got to have that filter of relevancy, and we do a pretty good job in our tool of making sure that we cut out the non-relevant keywords and give you a very focused look at the right keywords that are going to be impactful to your business. But in terms of search volume, identifying, you know, short tail versus long tail, there's a couple of things that you have to consider, right? One is, you know, the search volume is very category specific or niche specific, because you've got to look at the depth of keywords, right? You know, when you're pulling together a keyword from a specific niche, it's got to be keyword driven, it's got to be niche driven. But, you know, if you're getting a list and let's say, you know, 20 keywords have 10,000 search volume, right? And then the next ones are completely, you know, at 500, etc. You know, then obviously the minimum search volume that you choose for your longer tail keywords is going to be based on the depth of the keyword. So it's really important when you're looking at keywords to understand, you know, not only, hey, what has good search volume, but what is the depth? How many keywords actually have a lot of decent search volume? And then based on that, you can start to customize, hey, what I consider low or high. But anything, you know, people do from 500, you know, searches, you know, typically to 1,000, 2,000. It really depends on the category and what you're in. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's our approach.
No, it's a good approach, and I'm sure it's something to look into, because it's not always about good or bad. It's about testing in the end, because there are a lot of, you know, variables there in the equation. So the whole idea is to do an A/B testing and try to go with maybe 500 searches, monthly searches, keywords, or maybe aim for higher, or maybe structure your listing. And one thing that I would like to mention here, and this is my opinion, a listing is not a one-time effort. So trying to make one listing and live with it throughout the Amazon journey for years, that's a really not so good approach, if you ask me. But in the end, yeah, it's always about knowing your keywords, looking into PPC, which is a very good keyword harvester and tells you exactly where you're selling. That's the main focus. And also looking into the long tails. And yeah, but how many long tails should we actually look at when it comes to a listing? Is there a number to look at, or maybe try to integrate as many as possible? How do you feel about going into the number of used keywords, long tail keywords, for example, in a listing that with that?
I mean, you know, the theory is that a listing should index for around 1,500 keywords, right, at a base. You know, people play with that number, they say more or less, but at the end of the day, you want to index for as many keywords as you can that are relevant for your product, right? Because to your point, you've got to have the door available for anybody who's coming in from a search term, right? So you want to have in your listing as many as you can. What we see, and when we create our keyword list, right, we limit that, and we filter it a lot, because we're really looking for what is the most impactful keywords that will make a difference to your business. So we give about 400, you know, between 300 and 500 search terms within the indexed keyword. You know, keywords that come back with 10,000 keywords, you know, there's no ways you're going to use those, and it's not even going to make an impact in your business. So we believe around that, you know, 400 to 500, search term list. If you can get that into your listing, in obviously exact, broad phrase match, you're going to be in a brilliant position to move forward and start to rank.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds very good. Very good. What about PPC in terms of using the keywords into PPC? What is your view on this one? What kind of PPC campaigns to look at? How to structure them? Maybe target only the exact, or maybe go with, I don't know, broad phrase. How
I mean,
structure them?
I think the most important thing from our perspective, right, is that you find the keywords that not just your competitors index for as a starting point, but what are people actually typing into Amazon, right? In a marketplace, so not just .com, the localized market that you're in, and what is current, what are they putting in right now, and that is an important piece, because and it's a unique way that we extract the data, right? But by basing your base level manual campaign on some of those keywords that we find, there's a lot of opportunity versus other keyword tools out there, and that opportunity gives you the chance to find those opportunity keywords that your competitors don't rank for, and you can really start to get some great conversion rates. So at a baseline, I think it's really important to make sure you're getting the most relevant keywords that people are actually typing into Amazon in that localized market, Germany, Canada, UK, whatever it is, right? So we have a very good way of getting at that for your initial manual campaign, right? You can obviously run manual, you can run automated. Automated takes some time, but your baseline manual, if you base it on some of the keywords that we can find, we think it's a very good platform to launch your PPC. So that's number one. Number two, the basic structure we have is to have the manual. You can run an automated campaign, and then obviously what's really important is that as you start to look at the PPC performance, that you're very systematic in how you approach harvesting those keywords. Whether you negative match, whether you're excluding keywords if they're not converting, getting it to focus more, whether you're pulling out a subset. There's different approaches to how you do that. But I think the main point to get across there is that you have to have a systematic approach to doing it and be patient with it, right? So it's not something you change every single day. Same with the listing, right? So you've got to have a systematic approach to how you're doing that. We have some training on that about how we approach it. So those are the main things I would say with PPC. There's a lot of data in there. Understanding what are some of your your research keywords versus your actual converting keywords is really important. And then from our perspective with the halo effect is not only running a manual campaign with some of your higher volume keywords, but having that separate campaign with some of those opportunity keywords that you want to really focus on that have a quality match to those keywords in your listing is important. And then I think the last point there is the way I treat it, and there's different approaches, but from a broad phrase and exact match, the bidding on each of those, I treat them completely separate. I don't relate them. I treat the bidding and how I would optimize the bidding on those, all separately.
Mm-hmm. No, that sounds very good. So I'm eager to see actually how this relates into the actual tool. So if you're okay with it, let's switch to the tool, because I would really like to see how it.
Yeah, sure. Let's jump in. I'm happy to show you.
Let me add here the presentation. So
Great.
Let me give you a little bit more space there.
Yeah, great. So you can see my screen right now?
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah. So,
okay. So this is ZonGuru. I'm just logged into our web app right now. These are all the different tools that we have, product research, listing optimization, business metrics, monitoring and alerts, customer engagement. The keywords that I'm going to show you right now, the tool that I'll show you right now around the halo effect is Keywords on Fire, and I'll show you Listing Optimizer as well. We have another tool in here as well. You'll see this, but it's called Keyword Spotlight, which actually shows you the backend search terms for any ASIN that you want to look at. It's pretty unique. So you can look at competitors' backend search terms. You can look at your own. There's various ways you can look at that. But I'm going to show you Keywords on Fire and how we get at the keywords, but more importantly, how we create the list that we can actually put into our listing optimization tool. I'll show you this example exercise bands right here. What's important, I just want to kind of bring this point up, is that we drive everything by seed keywords, right? So you can do one or multiple seed keywords. If I just add exercise band here, you can choose your marketplace, right? Whatever marketplace you want. And when you run the search on this seed keyword, what it's doing is it's actually pulling in the top 25 organic listings for that specific keyword, right? So these are organic listings. You can select all. You can also add these. You can manually add additional ASINs. You can actually do a different phrase. Like I could go resistance bands. If I thought that was a good one, I could add that as well. So the point being is that as part of the analysis, based on the seed keywords that you add, singular or multiple, you can pull together the best listings, the most relevant listings of those top 25 to do the analysis. And when you run the analysis right now, what it's doing is it's taking all of those ASINs, all of those listings that you put in, it's doing a reverse ASIN analysis of all of those listings to get at all the keywords that they index for. And that's mostly where its tools stop right there. But what we do is we take it a step further. We then pull in additional third-party data, API data, brand analytics. There's a whole bunch of data from Amazon that we pull in and dedupe against that reverse look ASIN analysis. And the reason we do that is we, again, that's that context of saying, hey, we don't want to just look at all of the keywords that are currently indexing for on the most relevant competitors, but what are actually customers typing into Amazon? What are they doing right now? How do we get at some of those opportunity keywords? And we dedupe that against that list. And then we filter that to give you the most relevant, impactful keywords that will kind of move the needle for your business. And that's where we really stand out versus any of the other tools out there, especially when you start to look at localized markets. Like if you look at German market, you look at other keyword tools, you're going to get 10,000 keywords. We're going to give you a very focused look of what people actually type into Amazon. You'll see a big difference in what those keywords are. So that just gives you the theory of how we actually get at keywords. And that just makes sure that the keywords we have is a really quality list. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So far, so good. That's right. Great. Yeah.
So this is exercise band as an example. You can see we pulled in 493 unique keyword phrases. There's 25 competitors that were analyzed in this. We give you a total revenue from all of those keywords and the total search volume potential of those keywords. And then we give you all the keywords, right? So here's all the keywords. We give you some very important metrics. One is a relevancy score that we create internally out of 100. This is based on search volume, relevance, competition opportunity, a few other key pieces that are based in that into the score. You'll learn to trust that over time. We give you dollar from keywords that are earned from that keyword, search volume, how many competitors actually rank in the top 25. And this is where we start to understand competitors. How many of these 25 competitors rank in the top 25 positions? How many you have to sell to get onto page 1, units, ratings, price, percentage keyword and title, average PPC bid, which is important if you're targeting certain keywords. And then we give you, top 3 clicks, conversions. And then on the right-hand side here, we give you all of the competitors and how they actually rank, up to position 200. So this is important for when you're starting to do more of the advanced look, is that how do we actually pull out some of those competitors and actually look at how do they rank versus some of those keywords, right? So there's a lot, we're covering a lot here, but there's a lot of important data here. I think that the key thing here is if you're optimizing a listing, it's as easy as just going, hey, give me all of the main keywords that are, let's just say, have a ZG score of greater than or equal to 60, right? We could just put 60, we could filter that, basically saying, hey, out of all the keywords you've got, here's the most relevant, most impactful keywords. I can save that view. I can load that to my listing. I'll show you that in a second, and you can optimize your listing. So that's number one, right? But in terms of, and I would do that. So I would create one list, which is like my short tail, high volume, most relevant keywords. I would create that list and I would make sure that my listing has got those keywords in it. That's step one. Step two, what I want to do is create an opportunity set of keywords that my competitors don't rank for, that might have decent search volume that I could save, and then obviously run that PPC to it and create that halo effect. So that's the second piece, right? So I can just show you how easy it is to do that.
Yeah, please. I guess that's the most important part here. Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, these keywords here, the two on the left-hand side are the ones that have the most ranked keywords, right? So if they're my biggest competitors who have the best ranking for keywords, I could go, hey, give me all the keywords that this keyword, this product doesn't rank for in the top 25 positions, right? So you can see it reduced to 216. And then maybe for the second one here, I can go, hey, all the ones that they don't rank for. I could even go, I could add more if I want. I could do all of them. I could do some of them. But right now, just for theory, I could say, hey, here's all the keywords that these two competitors don't rank for in the top 25 positions, right? Simple. I can then go, hey, I could filter on top of that and say, hey, give me search volume of everything greater than or equal to, this is a pretty big category. So I'll just go 1,500. That's okay. There's 83 keywords. I can add another one and say, hey, give me all the ones that have ratings less than or equal to 5,000, so that we're looking for keywords that have decent search volume, aren't as competitive, and that our main competitors don't rank for. Here's 49 keywords, right? Resistance bands with handles, heavy duty resistance bands, you can see all of them here. You can obviously look at the search volume. You can sort by search volume if you want. You could filter this down a little bit further if you need, but you can kind of understand how right now I've got a list of keywords, 50 right now, that have decent search volume, low ratings for this category, and the top two competitors don't rank for in the top 25. I could even add a third one if I want. There's 44. You get it, right? And I could filter this down into I get a subset of keywords that I think are most relevant. I can save it, and then I can obviously make sure my listing has it, but then run PPC to that as well.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I haven't thought about this. So it's really a very good point that you've touched here. So that's a good way to filter out and see what your competitors are not doing, and maybe try to get a piece of the action, especially if the keywords are relevant. And in this case, they really are relevant for your product. And I see the keyword dollars is actually something that relates to how many sales are happening on that keyword. The column with keyword dollars. Yeah,
correct. So that's basically the sum of the top 25 or those competitors that were analyzed in there. It's the sum of the revenue generated from that specific keyword for the top 25 brands that ranked for that specific term.
That's very good information. Okay.
Yeah.
Super nice.
So that and search volume, it'll help you, and together with stuff like PPC bid, it helps you if you targeting your title specific keywords, right? So if I was here and I was like, hey, I want to make sure that I've got one of these keywords in my title. Now I could look at dollars from keyword, I could look at search volume, I could even look at PPC bid, and I could identify, right now, hey, it looks like, maybe TheraBand, because some people call it TheraBand. Maybe that's a really good one to target. It has decent search volume, it has decent dollar from keyword, and actually the PPC bid is pretty low, right, compared to some of these 259, 281. So that just gives me an opportunity to target that keyword over some of the other ones, right? So there's a lot of ways that you could look at this to number one, get the opportunity keywords, but then also focus on, hey, which are the ones I want to put in my title, etc.
That's very good. Also, I just want one small asterisk here. Be very careful when you're adding keywords to your listing in general, and I'm talking to any Amazon seller here. Make sure you're checking for trademarks first, because I'm not sure completely, but I think TheraBand is an actual trademarked name from one of the competitors that are selling on that market. I know I've looked into this market like at the beginning of the Amazon days, and I believe something like TheraBand was the name of a brand out there. So always be careful not to go into infringement. So yeah, exactly. And what you could also do is TheraBand, 2 words, like which people type it as well, which probably doesn't have as much of a trademark. It's 2 words, right? So people might use it. It's kind of like saying Kleenex, right? Kleenex is a brand, but people use it in the US to talk about tissues anyway, so you got to look at it. But yeah, totally. And then you can also remove keywords, right? So for example, if I was like, hey, give me all the keywords that do not contain TheraBand, right? So you can remove specific keywords. You can do multiple keywords. You can separate by commas, etc. So you can really kind of get at your most relevant list that doesn't have your competitive keywords, etc. So you can really filter down this list, and most importantly, you can save it. When you save it, it will save under your main list that you've created. So you'll have your main keywords, and you'll have the other ones underneath that. So that's it. Again, this you would use for your listing, for your PPC, etc. For manual campaigns, this is a great one. And when you go over to your keyword tool, this is also pretty cool in terms of how we do it differently. You can see this is our keyword tool. So what you do is you just import your list, right? So I'll go import keywords from, and right here I can go exercise band. Hey, here's my opportunity keywords, my short tail, whatever it is. I can upload those keywords. So once I upload those keywords, it'll have all the keywords. It has the search volume, the ZG score that we had, and then how many competitors have that keyword in their listing, and where is it included in the listing? Exact match, broad match, somewhere in the listing. But what's important is this column here, the competitors. How many competitors have that in their listing, and where does that come from? It's over here. You can see we do it contextually. What we do differently to other tools is we don't just say, hey, where do you want to include the keywords in your listing, but we allow you to add up to 8 other competitors, and then we look at a rating for each of those competitors. So when I go here, I can go, hey, and I can just add any ASIN I want from any of my competitors, and you can see they've all been added along here, right? So it takes all these keywords and then it compares it in each of these listings and gives it a score. So you can see this guy here has a score of 35,000, and he's in the top 5% of all listings on page 1 for this category. This guy here is in the top 15%, and this person here is in the top 6%, right? Right. Yeah.
So if this was my listing, right, and I'm in the top 18%, my goal here would be to take all of these dark green deduped keywords and add them into my listing to get a better score than any of my competitors, right? And understand where they are. And so here I can just add, like, for example, if I add workout, elastic, I'm just adding it randomly. But I'm just pulling those ones from here. You can start to see my score increases, right? So you kind of work through the listing, adding exact phrase throughout your listing, and you can see even you can see, strange enough, they don't even have many search terms here, but you can see backend search terms for someone like this, right? You can see he has all their backend search terms as well. So it kind of rates your listing based on every single keyword that you have in your listing, and then you can get a better score. So for example, here, if I just select all of them, I'm just going to randomly do this, add them all to this listing. You can see if I added all the keywords that are deduped, I'd get into the top 3% of all listings, right? You can then export this automatically onto Amazon because you're connected, and then you can move on to your next listing. So it's a really easy way to kind of optimize your listings, make sure that you're better than all your competitors, And then obviously you have that secondary set of opportunity keywords that you can make sure is in your listing, but you also run PPC to that, and the halo effect will begin to happen. And at least you can check that markup and say, hey, I've got the best listing on page 1. I've got the short tail keywords, the most relevant ones. I've got my halo effect opportunity keywords in there. I'm running my PPC, and you're not going to scratch your head and think, why aren't things working? You know that you've got the best listing on page 1.
Right. So I've seen there at the bottom something very interesting. You have there like the backend keywords for every ASIN available.
Any ASIN that you add, yeah. So
that's incredible.
ASIN over here.
I always thought that would be obtained in a, let's say, black hat way, but since you have it there, I'm guessing it's available from the Amazon side, from the API.
Yeah, it's available from the API. Yeah, this guy doesn't even have one. Yeah, strange.
All right. Yeah. That's a huge advantage here that refers to actually seeing what your competitors are using in their backend and knowing exactly what keywords they've used, so you can maybe get some good inspiration out of that. Great stuff.
Yep.
That's a big plus from my side when it comes to looking at listings, because in the old days you couldn't see the backend, and that was the hidden part. Especially I remember we had some problems with infringement back in the days when other listings were showing up on our search results. If you're searching for the brand, then you see a lot of results. So some of them were actually using in the backend the keyword that the brand, the trademark name. So it's a good way to verify for that. So make sure that other competitors are not using your brand's name in their backend to rank on your let's say on your brand search keyword.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you always wonder what they're putting in there. Yeah. Again, whenever you're optimizing a listing, one area that you've got to be careful about touching is your backend search terms. It's always good to add keywords there, but replacing them is not always the best move if you're steadily trying to rank. So just be careful with how you actually handle your backend search terms.
So like a huge modification in terms of removing or let's say replacing some keywords in the backend will draw down the ranking in terms of.
It can. I mean, sometimes if you've got like some good backend traction there, if you completely replace them, it kind of resets everything, and it does sometimes struggle to come back. So you just got to be careful with what you're replacing. Sometimes you have a listing and you put, some people put a whole bunch of junk in there. That's obviously replaceable. But if you have some solid keywords in there, be careful just to replace them. Rather add. If you can add, there's a character count. If you can add, go there first before you replace. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good tip. Thank you for that, John. Yeah. Perfect.
One other thing that's kind of interesting just from a listing optimization is we do have this kind of unique tool called Love Hate. And what this tool does is it actually does a pretty unique analysis. It's a kind of a semantic analysis of all of the reviews for a specific category. So if I put in exercise bands, what it's going to do right now is it's going to pull all of the reviews across that whole category, all of the listings. You can see there's and then it splits them out between positive and negative sentiment. So there's right now there's almost 20,000 reviews around positive sentiment, and there's about 3,000 reviews around negative sentiment. And then we give you the common themes that are in there, right? So for example, if a really good way of using this is to understand what do people care about, what do they love, what do they hate about a specific product, and then using that in your image overlays, in your text, to really differentiate and call out the things that people care about. So if I go here and I go, storage bag, that's an important one. I could click on that. I could go down here and I could read the reviews. What are people saying about the storage bag? Why is it important? Should I include it? How big does it need to be? Those are the kind of things, do I call that out in my images, etc. Right? So, and you can go deeper by excluding keywords. You can go deeper in here. But it's just a really good way to really look at all the reviews across a category grouped by, specific sentiments to help you understand what to put in your listing. You can use it in your titles for some of your paid ads as well. So it's a pretty cool tool to use.
And this is very good for product research. You can look at the hate, so to speak, to look at the bad things and improve in your product. If you're trying to bring in a product similar to the ones displayed here, let's say the bands, then it's a good way to see what people dislike or what the product is lacking and improve on those aspects. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
Super nice. All right.
Good.
Great. So I guess we've touched the base points here and the most important features, and I really like it. I think it's great value that you've added actually here for the Amazon sellers, for us, and I'm eager to give it a try, to give it a spin, to see how it's rolling when I put my hand on it. I'm technical, like I said at the beginning. I'm technical. I come with a technical background. I tend to understand things, and then I want to know how to adapt them in the business in order to go straight to the point. And
I mean, I think you're a great fit for that in the sense that we obviously have Amazon sellers on our team, and they're all technical. So they love the technical part of it, but they want to solve our Amazon problems in the most efficient, impactful way. So we're getting the right data for sure. You'll find that, and then we obviously visualize it in the right way. So that's us. We do have a special for anyone watching. It's called the Rapid Ranking Challenge, which covers a lot of this and more by some of our head trainers. Kimberly French dives in. But basically what we do is we give you a task. I think it's over 4 or 5 days. We give you a 20-minute task to do for a specific listing if you want to improve the ranking and see what the actual impact of that halo effect and the rapid ranking is. So we step by step walk you through every single step, and you can follow along. And I think on that link right there, it's typically, I think it's $150 for that challenge. I think in this way it's free. You have to sign up, you get a free trial, but you'll actually get this sent to you, and you can do it for free, and go through and test the rapid ranking for yourself.
You took that away from me. I was about to say that I know that you have a gift for everyone who's watching here, but yeah, there we go. This is the gift. Hope everyone will enjoy it. Yeah. Also, I'll ask the team to add it to the chat. That's very important, and I'm sure it will be a great way to move forward into this ranking. And I'm eager to try the challenge, to see how it goes. Yeah, to see what you've installed there for everyone. So great. Thank you very much for that, John. I don't know if you have any questions, but we'll wait like 1-2 minutes to see if any questions pop up. Otherwise, I think we've touched and we've looked into things in a quite different way, I might say, and I haven't looked at them so far in this direction, to actually look at whatever people are not looking into. So try to see where everyone is looking and go the other way, something like that.
Exactly. I think it's the whole idea of ranked versus not ranked is quite interesting, and we've been doing that for we've got some pretty big updates coming to our keyword tool, but we've had it in this way for about 1.5 years now, and a lot more coming there. But that concept of not only, hey, what are the best keywords, but what's happening with the competition and how do we beat them on organic and PPC? That's obviously really critical. So we look at it that way, and again, just the quality set of the keywords is obviously super important. And especially if you're selling in Europe, in localized markets, if you use our tool for that market, you'll see a lot of opportunity in terms of how we get at keywords, which will give you that advantage, right? So check it out for sure.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. You're covering all the European marketplaces and around the world, so every marketplace is available.
Well, it's Australia, India, Europe, and North America. So those are the markets. We don't have UAE as yet. Japan we don't have. So those are the two kind of main ones outside of that we don't have integrated yet.
Yeah, that's more than enough for now. That's for sure. So it's a huge marketplace on each of them. So you have a lot of data there. That sounds great. It's really awesome. And we're looking forward to testing the product ourselves. So we'll be looking into ZonGuru. That's definitely something. John, I want to personally thank you for taking your time and presenting this in front of our audience. And we'll leave the recording. It will be available and will remain here and also on our YouTube and LinkedIn channel. Feel free to always, post, if you're watching the replay, post a question, and myself, or actually John here, I will ping him to reply if the question is for him, and most likely it will be regarding ZonGuru. And yeah, that's it for today. I guess we can wrap it up. John, you have anything else from your side?
No, what I'd say is, you know, we have a pretty passionate team. So, you know, if there's anything you need help with, you know, you can go to zonguru.com. We have a chat support. The team will help you there. We're very proud of having the highest, best rated service in the industry. And if you want to check out our Instagram as well, we have a lot of kind of cool information on there, not just around ZonGuru, but really around sellers. The Rate Your Hack series, which is about white hat hacks to how to improve your business coming from experts. I'm sure we'll have you on there at some point if we haven't recorded it yet. Yeah, just check out us at our Instagram channel as well at ZonGuru.
Awesome. Myself as a seller, I will look it up for sure. And yeah, thank you for taking your time. And yeah,
thank you. Yeah, it was great. Good luck with you. Yeah.
See you. Until next time.